a very powerful impact on me and sort of changed the trajectory of my life once again.
Right. Of course, like when you suffer that kind of loss in an operational environment like that, it takes a big toll. And it is, again, like you said, it's no longer about the combat mission as it is about the camaraderie with your brothers. And you're really serving to keep each other safe. And the mission changes. It's no longer a presence patrol. It's keep my brother safe and extract ourselves out. So
Yeah, and even more so, it's kind of like the Bosnia where we were seeing people where their own country didn't see them. I mean, I have the distinct honor of being able to see these men, these people, in a way that way beyond the uniform. I got to
right.
see them as people in a very inhumane place. It's very powerful, yeah. And so when I came back, I was really motivated to continue to see people, continue to see the person inside the uniform. And I really wanted to sort of lead with that moving forward in my life. So I came back and I started up a casualty support cell before what they called IPSCs existed. And then I helped the IPSC sort of develop in Shiloh, but my role had changed. My desire was to work with people, and I actually became the conduit between the chain of command and the medical system with our troops who were
Okay.
suffering. And part of the deal was I had lost my ability to take on to become to get promoted to warrant because I had sort of let that go if I was going to change my trajectory, and then I had to go to school to sort of CYA, if you will, make sure I wasn't doing any harm. And I was working full time as a student distance, doing social work while I was operating this casualty support cell.
Okay.
And uh, my intention was to stay in the military, but then I realized my philosophy of care or just the direction I was going might have been a little bit different, and it would be easier for me to support my loved ones, my fellow brothers and sisters, on my own. And so I continued my practice outside of the military. Yeah.
Right. And now you have a practice in Nova Scotia to help with trauma
Mm.
therapy. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I've gone through a few different clinics and helped support and create a few different programs across the country. And finally, I got tired of trying to, I got tired of working with uh, clinicians and others that were curious about sort of the cultural competence with military. I shouldn't say tired, but I thought, well, there's something bigger that I can be doing here. So I opened up the Atlantic Group and Trauma Training Center with the intention of supporting those who serve, but also being able to provide clinical trainings for clinicians interested in working with operators, so first
Okay.
responders and military. And so now I work as an international educator, working with civilians and people who are genuinely interested in working with our military and first responders.
Okay. And you focus more on, or less on the disability and more on the skill set that the soldier has. Is that correct?
Yeah, my big thing is reclaiming ability. So there's a reason why we join the service, and there's a reason why we're able to run towards the fire where other people run away. It's because we have capacity, we have the ability. And somewheres along the way, we become injured, and suddenly we're not able to. It's really interesting if you look at our training. Our
Right.
training at the very beginning is to bolster us up, to beef us up. You
Yep.
are superior. You can do anything. You are a superstar. And then when you become injured from service, you have to then prove how disabled you are, which completely changes our mindset. And so far, we don't really have a mechanism to bring that back. It's like, wait a minute now, let's challenge this. At
Right.
one time, we were leading the pack, and now all of a sudden we're falling behind, and we require the pack to carry us. That's not true. We have to be able to figure out how to reclaim our agency around that. And so the work that I do really is about reclaiming that.
Excellent. And how is that being received with your patients?
Well, my clients are very good. For one thing, they really appreciate having somebody who served, so somebody who gets it.
Yeah.
And I love to have that as sort of the buy-in. But really, I really focus on my clinical expertise. I do study and do a lot of research and really want to be culturally competent, but I also want to be clinically competent as well, because it's real out there. It's just a matter of how we apply it. And again, it goes back to the relational model. If we operate relationally, if we actually get the person and see them, and we are a person with them, we're going to go a whole lot further. And that's how I practice, and that's how the clinicians that work with me practice as well.
Right. So if someone who's transitioning out wants to get involved in your program, how can they see you?
Mm-hmm. Certainly, there's all kinds of different. We're running a whole bunch of different options, but really, if they go to the Atlantic Group and Trauma Training Center .org or agttc.org, they'll see the website. And the best way to do it is, because we're here for them, it's like, just send us a message. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. What can you guys provide around that? Right. And we're fairly flexible. Like, we'll say, okay, well, you know what? Let's create a program to do that. Let's do something in that direction, because that's what people are asking. And so I've created a space where my clinicians do clinical work, and so do I. But I've created the space in a way that gives them flexibility to chase and follow their passion, which means they have opportunities and time to be able to adjust and accommodate what people are looking for.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. I know we have about a minute left. Any last minute advice for an infanteer coming through, transitioning out for them?
Yeah. Don't wait until later. Don't wait until you become injured to start learning how to help yourself. The reason why we talk about, actually, if you go to the website, you'll learn about nervous system recalibration, which is something that I've created. And it's for operators in operations. We can recalibrate. We have agency over our nervous system, and we have to be able to do that in the moment before we become injured. And when we do that, we reduce the likelihood of becoming injured. We're capable of it. It is possible. It's changing that mentality, and that starts with leadership too, to understand that as humans, we have a nervous system that goes both ways. We can be charged, but we have to recover.
Right.
And so creating that culture is going to go a long way in creating a healthy operator.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate you coming on the show today, and that's all we have today. Thank you.
Thank you.